As we look back on 2022, we here at KHU 11 want to remind you of the good in our community. The Houston area is full of people and organizations going out of their way to help others. So over the next hour, we'll share these stories with you. Stories about miracles, about love, about kindness, about generosity, about us, all of us. And we begin in Baytown, where a restaurant offered more than just food. It gave customers a chance to help strangers. Stephanie Whitfield took us to the Pay It Forward Diner.
This diner has become a popular lunch spot in Baytown. Every meal is made with love, because here, loving your neighbor is the whole reason their doors are open.
What we do is make sure that nobody goes without, right?
Teresa McCartney Hoffert and her husband Paul opened the Baytown Pay It Forward Diner a few months ago, but it's been their dream for a decade.
Most of the time people are real anxious to help when there's something going wrong, a disaster or something like that. But people are in need to eat outside of those times.
They know that because they were once homeless. The need is what inspired this wall. Each heart is a meal that's already paid for. Anyone is welcome to come use a heart to eat for free. Marcy Hill eats here several times a month.
I thought it was awesome and a way to give back to the community.
As word has gotten out, their wall has filled up. So have their tables.
They don't have to. They choose to. And that, I think, is what gets us every day. Every day people come in and they're like, I just want to be a part. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. You know what I mean? So we cry every day because the goodness of God is just phenomenal.
Whether you're having a bad week, year, or few years, anyone can get a delicious hot meal, no questions asked. But more than that, it's a place where you know there's a wall full of people who care. Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
The diner closed this summer when its lease was up, but there's currently a GoFundMe page dedicated to raising money for the diner to get its own permanent home. Can I open now? It's a life-changing gift. Kristen Johnson, a single mother of two, was given a new car by the Greasy Spoon restaurant in Pearland. This happened in May, and Johnson had already had a challenging year. She escaped a violent relationship, had her truck stolen from her home, and lost her big brother and father within months of one another.
Days that I feel like breaking down and I can't get through anymore, like I sit and have a serious conversation with God, and then I just know my worth and know that I have a greater purpose here than, you know, this season of what's going on right now.
The owner of the Greasy Spoon, Max Bozeman II, says he's been inspired by many single moms throughout his life. He hopes he can help even more people next year. J.J. Watt doesn't play for Houston anymore, but the future Hall of Famer hasn't forgotten about his fans here. Marcelino Benito spoke with a woman grateful for the former Texan.
It's been very dreadful.
Tara Roderick lost her father Jerry 1 month ago, a day after Father's Day.
As a daughter, you can't even hear your own father. It's painful.
For 4 weeks now, the family's been struggling to come up with the money to lay him to rest. So her niece, Jennifer, turned to Twitter.
It got to the point where I'm selling, valuable items on social media, items that mean stuff to me.
She tried to sell her J.J. Watt Women's Edition Reebok shoes and Watt Women's Texans jersey. She tweeted out, anyone interested?
He's got so many followers and stuff, I never thought he'd even see it.
20 minutes later, number 99 replied with a retweet. He wrote, don't sell your shoes and jersey. We'll help with the funeral. I'm sorry for your loss.
I was just like shaking. I'm like, is this for real? This dude doesn't even know me.
She called to let her Aunt Tara know right away.
I called her a liar. I'm like, ain't nobody famous gonna respond to you. We're nobodies.
It didn't take long for Jennifer's phone to buzz again. J.J. Watt sent her money via PayPal to help pay for the funeral.
For him to just step up and help us, it just lifted a burden off of us.
Oh my God, I almost had a heart attack.
But the story doesn't end there. J.J. Watt's act of kindness prompted so much more.
This is a headline because he's famous, but there's hundreds of people who have helped us.
The family now so close to having everything they need to say one last goodbye. A final farewell made possible thanks to so many strangers who wanted to help too.
These people don't even know us, they don't know our story. They don't know what we've been going through this last month or anything like that. But it reminds me that, there is good in the world.
Marcelino Benito, KHOU 11 News.
There is good. Absolutely. And this next story offers even more proof of that. Maria Aguilera introduced us to two friends who reconnected just in time to save a life.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Crystal Watson and Jennifer Tyndall met in second grade in Central Texas. Life drifted them apart for more than 30 years. Watson now lives in Clute. Tyndall lives in Waco. And recently, they reconnected on Facebook. Something life-changing is bringing them back even closer together.
I'm so glad that you're in my life, and I'm glad I found you. And I can't ever thank you enough.
Last year, Watson shared she was eligible for a kidney transplant. A few of her friends messaged her willing to be a living donor. Tyndall was one of them.
I just felt compelled. I felt like God was just telling me, you know what, just reach out. What's it going to hurt?
She was sent a blood kit. She was a match.
They both say it was divine intervention, that their faith in God led them to each other.
I really believe I was just was kind of called by God.
It was just a wonderful feeling that somebody that I met in second grade is now going to be my donor.
Watson says it's a huge gift for someone like Tyndall to donate an organ.
Maybe this is the only reason you're here on this earth. You're here to give somebody else at least a little bit better of a life.
And in a week, Tyndall will have the opportunity to give her childhood friend a better life.
Consider her my hero. That she's going to donate something that's her part of her, and I just thank her so much.
I checked in with Crystal and Jennifer. They tell me the surgery went well and they're healing nicely. I think a lot of us would do whatever we could to help someone we know, like a longtime friend, but it takes someone extra special to put their life on the line for a stranger. Stephanie Whitfield reported that's what a nurse from Texas Children's Hospital decided to do to help Ukrainians in need.
Kyle Cockrum cares for some of the sickest children in the country in the pediatric intensive care unit at Texas Children's Hospital. He started his career as a nurse during the pandemic. He sees his job as a blessing.
How cool is it to be the person that somebody needs when they're going through their darkest day, when they're going through their most stressful time?
We sat down with him 2 days before he left for Eastern Europe. He's taking a month off to work at a clinic in Moldova to care for Ukrainian refugees.
My calling is to give back to others, and it's my purpose to help those that are in need. And I can't neglect when millions of people are having to flee their homes, their jobs, to a country that they're unfamiliar with just due to violence.
He arrived late last week. He tells us he's seeing more than 60 patients a day, treating their physical needs and emotional, then praying with every patient.
It's just so special to hear their stories and then just to give them a big hug. And we're having tons of patients say, I honestly haven't laughed or smiled in 2 months.
His day-to-day life looks different than it did in the PICU, but Cockrum says his mission as a nurse is the same, to help people and show compassion. Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
That mission was just getting started when Stephanie talked to Kyle in May. Since then, he's volunteered in Romania and India and received the Boots and Scrubs Award from Texas Children's. Houston's own Crowdsource Rescue also sent volunteers to Ukraine. The organization credits the work it's done to lessons learned during Hurricane Harvey. Kimberly Davis spoke to volunteers who were on the ground in Ukraine this spring.
Crowdsource Rescue was born as Hurricane Harvey hit Houston. A loose group of volunteers used tech to organize life-saving rescues as the water rose. The floodwaters eventually receded, but Crowdsource Rescue stuck around, deploying to natural disasters when they were needed.
They just cleared the path for us to get through.
Now they're in Ukraine.
Hang on, I gotta put you down a little bit. We're going through a checkpoint. They are not happy about cameras.
Alan Gary is a retired Marine.
I've been their attorney for a couple of years.
Jason Rowe is an attorney and radio host. Both are using their skills learned during some of the toughest times in Houston history to help Ukrainians as they battle for their lives.
It's that same feeling of coming together that Houston had during Harvey and afterwards, where it doesn't matter black or white or what's going on. You're there to help each other and to make it through. And that's exactly how these people feel day in, day out.
And Crowdsource Rescue says they are making a real difference on the ground in Ukraine.
Part of what the team was here to do was to train some of the Ukrainians on search and rescue techniques.
Recently, they taught a class in how to apply tourniquets.
Got shot in the leg, and one of the other troops ran over to him, grabbed him, tourniquet his leg, and pulled him to safety. And that happened the day after we provided that training. So we were very thankful that we were able to help do that.
And they don't plan to stop helping.
We look forward to our next mission. We plan on coming out, setting up a training center, and helping these people on a much larger level.
Because helping people in need is their main mission.
I'm humbled that they trust us as much as they do. I'm humbled to be in a position to help.
And this mission reminds all of us how we are connected.
It makes me proud to be an American, that we've inspired nations, we've inspired people across the world.
Crowdsource Rescue also sent teams to help after Hurricane Ian devastated parts of Florida, and it's wrapping up the year by getting 12 donated RVs to Mayfield, Kentucky tornado victims. You can learn more about the organization through our website or crowdsourcerescue.org. Music can have a big influence on someone's life. Dave Freilich shared how a Montgomery County teen is making sure other kids in his community get the opportunity to try it out.
Montgomery High School senior Jake Bednarski can't remember a time when music wasn't a big part of his life.
My dad was playing Van Halen for me, like on the radio when I was about 4, and yeah, I love music ever since.
Like his hard rock hero Eddie Van Halen, Jake wasn't satisfied just listening to music. 5 years ago, he started playing the guitar himself.
Spent a lot of hours in my room just practicing, and a lot of hours at band practice, playing gigs. It's been a lot of fun.
The fun continued as Jake founded his own band, Bullethead, and started playing shows around the area. But his interest in the guitar took another turn when Jake started building guitars as well.
The first thing I did, I bought a cheap guitar, and I was like, it'd be cool if I just did the electronics, the pickups on there. So it really started from there. I've modded about 4 other guitars, and then I started building from there, and I enjoyed it a lot.
As Jake continued to build guitars, he decided he didn't need to keep them all, so he recently donated one of his creations.
There's a surprise coming in. Go ahead.
How's it going?
To Lone Star Elementary, along with a demonstration.
The guitar comes with like a little practice amp, so I just played for the kids, and they enjoyed it a lot, and I did too. It's just an awesome feeling. Like, I never really felt that, like, just playing for them, I enjoyed it a lot.
Jake now plans to donate a guitar to every elementary school in Montgomery ISD. He says he hopes his work can give the younger students the same love for music he has, and for some, maybe even provide a boost in the classroom.
Guitar is just a good outlet. It just gives them, something to grab onto, something to work at, and there's something about guitar. Each time you learn something new, it's like a new achievement.
Show me your best air guitar.
And hopefully that'll transfer over to school.
By the way, in addition to his band Bullethead, which released its first EP this year, Jake is captain of his high school's golf team and plans to study mechanical engineering in college. Now, college is a ways off for the Liberty County girl you're going to meet next because she is only 3. Too young for kindergarten, but not to make an impact. Steph Simmons showed us why Sunny started her own lemonade stand.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. And that's exactly what little Sunny Morgan did. Though shy in our interview, she was quite the salesperson at her drink stand.
She's a bold little girl and we're super proud. Oh, she's going to sleep.
When Sunny announced she wanted to open a lemonade stand, her mom assumed it was to raise money for herself.
She goes, no, Mom, I want to give it.
It turns out this little girl, who isn't even old enough to go to school yet, has already learned a lot about helping others. So, with Mom's help, Sunny got to work, pouring cold cups of lemonade, raising money to buy school clothes for kids in her community.
She ended up raising a total of $513.
And that total kept on climbing, past $550, then $600, proving you don't need the gift of gab to spread a little sunshine.
Sunny's had a birthday since we first shared her story, and she hasn't slowed down even a little. Along with her lemonade stand, the now 4-year-old, with the help of Mom, of course, held a toy drive this fall. Humans aren't the only ones who benefit from the kindness of strangers. Zach Tawatari showed how a group of Good Samaritans pitched in to rescue man's best friends.
Just imagine being stuck in a ditch like this. Well, that was the reality for 9 puppies who were saved thanks to the kindness of strangers. On the side of every road, there's a good chance you'll find some trash.
Look, come here.
But here in South Houston, dog rescuer Judy Hausler and a few of her neighbors
It was awesome getting them out.
found a different kind of litter.
It was just a miracle rescue, really, for these dogs.
It all began with a call to pick up Mom.
We started thinking, wait, she must have babies. So we started looking in the culverts.
That turned into a cry for help.
She saw them, and she counted 9 puppies.
But they needed some help themselves.
We need more hands.
And rakes and hose and anything to reach into that drainage pipe. Luckily, Ramon and his wife, Ashley Acosta,
I told my wife, hey, should I go help them? Should I go see what's going on?
live around the corner.
I just kind of got on my belly and on my back, and I pulled the puppy out.
And one by one, with the help of other Good Samaritans, they pulled the puppies to safety. Dog rescuer Tina Stone
I kept saying, push, push.
was in the middle of everything.
Dogs don't have a voice. They can't say, a child can say, Mom, I'm hungry, or Mister, I'm hungry. Dogs can't do that.
And today,
So here are our puppies.
all 9 and Mom are safe.
It really came together.
Thanks to strangers who chose to do more than just pass by.
Takes a village, and we had a village that came together for these dogs in need.
Zach Tawatari, KHOU 11 News.
Now that I've got the attention of dog lovers, listen up. A beloved boxer named Cash was reunited with his family in September, almost 2 years after he disappeared. Cash's owners say he slipped out of their yard a year and a half ago, and they'd given up hope until they got a call in September. The SPCA's injured animal ambulance picked up Cash because he had a wounded leg. Thankfully, he was microchipped, so it was easy for the SPCA to find his owners. Let these smiles be a reminder to get your pets microchipped just in case they ever get lost. Sometimes we, as in the folks who work in the KHU 11 newsroom, are the people viewers turn to for help. Tiffany Craig was able to solve an $8,000 issue for a Conroe woman.
Your usage this month is projected to cost $120.
For this retired English teacher, it's all about the math.
That darn decimal point.
It was early January, and Sheila Kay sat down to pay her $85 power bill.
The bill was $85.15. I accidentally, I will say and throw that in there, accidentally paid $8,515.
Yes, you heard that right. When she realized her massive mistake, Sheila called Entergy, the power company, and says she was told the overpayment would be credit on her account. Credit?
Yeah. My husband and I were very vocal here in the living room at that point and saying, absolutely not. That's not acceptable.
That's years of power bills.
Yeah, I may not even be alive by that point. So, I'm just like, no, you can't keep my money.
A handful of calls later, and things seem to be looking up. Sheila says another customer service rep told her they would mail her a refund check, but it's been weeks, and it's still not here. She reached out to us, and we also got in touch with Entergy. While waiting for a response, we talked to the Better Business Bureau.
It happens. It's human nature.
Making mistakes is not new, says Dan Parsons. He's just surprised it wasn't caught by her credit union or Entergy.
There should be enough checks and balances to know, wait a minute, here's a regular customer, here's their thing. The system should flag it and go, wait a minute, this is a mistake.
When Entergy got back in touch, they explained that most overpayments are small and end up as credit. Large amounts require an investigation. And in this case, Entergy wrote, "We apologize to the customer for the length of time this investigation took. Entergy Texas strives to deliver superior customer service, and we're sorry this wasn't resolved sooner." 2 weeks later, Sheila got the refund. She snapped this picture with her check. And this former teacher learned a valuable lesson.
When I send out a bill now, I definitely look and make sure that it is exactly what is showing up on that bill before I hit submit.
So if you're ever in a similar situation and you can't get it resolved, you can contact the Public Utility Commission of Texas and they can help get your money back. We've got a link in this story at khou.com. Tiffany Craig, KHOU 11 News.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation grants the wishes of children with critical illnesses. And this year, several of those wishes came true. About 600 of them just in the Houston area alone. While some kids ask for trips or vacations or to meet celebrities, Matt Doherty found out others focus on the future.
It may seem like an unusual request, but in the last year, there have been 5 other teens whose only wish was to attend the University of Houston. 18-year-old Andrea Espinosa had no idea what she was walking into this afternoon. She thought she was here for a tour of the university with her family. In the back of her mind, though, she already knew the tuition would be a financial burden she wasn't willing to put on her parents. Andrea wasn't sure how she'd be able to pay.
I'm diagnosed with a desmoid fibromatosis tumor.
Although you may not be able to tell now, 2 years ago, Andrea was very sick.
My diagnosis was very unexpected, but after a few x-rays and MRIs, they realized that it was a tumor.
Even after 2 surgeries and chemotherapy,
It kept growing back, so it is very aggressive.
Hospitals bring the medicine and we bring the magic.
years ago, when Andrea was diagnosed with cancer, she shared her dream of attending U of H. She hoped to one day become a doctor, an oncologist to be specific, to help the kids who are sick with cancer. Kids just like her.
All hospitals that address kids dealing with critical illnesses will refer kids to Make-A-Wish.
Today, Make-A-Wish gave Andrea the one thing she wanted: assistance with tuition for her first year of college. In addition to that, oncology consultants offered Andrea a spot in its internship program. Classes begin for Andrea next week, and she's grateful to have one less thing to worry about. That's only part of the good news, though. After a 3rd surgery in December, the cancer can't be found.
We are doing MRIs every 3 months, and so far, no tumor has been seen.
Really? So it's gone?
Yes.
That's great. At the University of Houston, I'm Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
Here's another special moment, courtesy of Make-A-Wish. When Reagan was younger, she rode UTVs with her dad on her family's property, but her father passed away. Now the Alvin teen is battling cancer. All she wanted was a new UTV to remember those times with him, and the Texas Gulf Coast Make-A-Wish Foundation made it happen. The same chapter gave a 15-year-old girl a celebration she never thought possible. Ana Yeli Ruiz took us to a very special quinceañera.
It was a magical surprise for 15-year-old Genesis Tamez as her friends and family celebrate her quinceañera. But getting to this day wasn't easy for her.
You know, it's really a miracle that she's here with us today.
Genesis was born at 25 weeks, weighing 1 pound. Her mom tells us doctors said Genesis wasn't going to live past 20 days. Matter of fact, they told her mom she should disconnect her because she had died. Her mom says she turned to God and asked him for a miracle. And now she says she's happy her little miracle is still here despite every obstacle. See, Genesis had a kidney transplant last year. She has issues with her brittle bones, her lungs, and even her heart. Because of those conditions, her mom says she hasn't been able to live a normal life. That is until tonight. The Make-A-Wish Foundation was able to help throw her the best quinceañera she could ever dream of. She had everything from a mariachi, a ballet folclórico, and yes, even some chambelanes, or her court of honor. Everything to make this sweet girl's night special, and it was all donated by various community partners.
We can support you in whatever you want. Everything from the session for the photography, the venue, of course, the dress, the corona, all those different elements.
And you could see this night was magical for her, a night her family had always wished for.
I just have no words but to thank God about, for giving my sister the 15 years.
As his princess danced the night away, a dream come true for this beautiful quinceañera. Ana Yeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
The dream for one little boy looked a little different. Connor Foland wanted to drive a locomotive, and earlier this year, as he took the ride of his life, Stephanie Whitfield was there.
Why do you like trains so much?
They're cool.
Connor Foland has loved trains since he was a toddler. So when his parents asked, what's one thing you would want to do?
This outfit is not complete until he has an official Union Pacific badge.
The answer was easy, driving a train. The 6-year-old has a rare genetic condition called ALD. It's a disorder that can impact the brain and spinal cord. His older brother has it too. So today, Union Pacific and Make-A-Wish made his dream of being a train engineer come true. He drove the engine down the track and learned a thing or two from the real engineer.
Can you tell her what this is? Remember?
The bell.
What was this one?
The horn.
Okay.
It's the greatest feeling ever. Just, it's amazing.
An amazing feeling seeing them so happy, seeing them just looking at everything, learning about everything, and just being him.
Perfect.
The energetic little boy loved every second, and seeing his joy was a dream come true for his whole family. Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
When 2 Houston area doctors lost their young daughter Nora to a car crash, they wanted her legacy to live on. They donated her organs to save other children and started a foundation to help other transplant patients. Nora was just 7 years old when a car crash cut her young life short. But her parents, Doctors Osama and Lillian Gaber, wanted her legacy to live on. They donated her organs to save other children. Then,
in her memory and really in her honor, they developed Nora's Gift Foundation, which is our foundation. And Nora's home came shortly after.
This is my home away from home.
Since Nora's home opened in 2013, it's offered a place for organ transplant patients and their families to stay. Patients like Bobby Chanel, who was told in 2003,
You need to get your affairs in order. You have 3 months, maybe 6 months to live.
Bobby refused to give up the fight, consulting with new doctors. Over the years, they installed a defibrillator, a pacemaker, and other devices to keep his heart pumping.
Until January the 13th when I finally got my heart.
In the months before and since his transplant, Bobby stayed at Nora's home.
My family was there with me through the whole thing in faith.
Not just the spiritual kind.
I feel like Nora's home saved my life.
Faith Crouch was born with cystic fibrosis.
When you're diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, you pretty much just assume that you're going to have a transplant.
After 6 years of being added to and dropped from 3 different transplant lists, Faith got new lungs.
So I ended up coming here, moving in, and we lived across the hall from each other.
The first time I saw Faith, I went and told my mother. She's my caretaker, and I said, there's this girl here, and she's really cute.
The couple didn't start dating immediately. Actually, that's a fairly recent development that they're navigating as Bobby recovers here.
We definitely want to be together.
Yep. It gets really hard to not be together now.
I think Faith and Bobby's story is just one inspiring example. It's truly a love story.
And it's an example of the relationships nurtured by the staff and volunteers of Nora's home.
They really make the home a home.
More than 1,400 families have stayed here during their transplant journey, some decorating a tile for the halls of Nora's home. Some thank God, some honor their donor, some are an illustration of the bridges crossed.
I think the real gift that Nora's home provides is that sense of community that you can only see and understand once you're inside our walls.
A place with a whole lot of heart and faith.
Nora's home kind of helped my soul heal while I was staying here.
Now, if that sounds like a Hallmark movie, it could be soon. We're told the folks at Hallmark actually heard about Faith and Bobby's story and are exploring turning it into a feature film. Just as Faith and Bobby have overcome so much, so have a number of Houston ISD students. This spring, Superintendent Millard House surprised them with scholarships. Ron Trevino profiled one of those students.
On behalf of HISD and Coca-Cola, so for $2,600.
This is a day of joy for young Katharina de Mendoza. A nice big check and a brand new laptop.
Now let's give her a big hand.
But the road here has been long and painful. Last year, she was severely injured in a car accident in North Texas, where she's from. Katharina suffered a traumatic brain injury and was brought to Tier Memorial Hermann in Houston. There was physical therapy, speech therapy. Her condition was so bad, she even had to relearn how to write her name. But she recovered and became a student at Heights High. Her parents prouder than you can imagine.
She overcame a lot, 8 months of rehab, and now she's on a roll. She's been admitted to several universities, and she's chosen University of Houston downtown.
Katharina, her friends call her Kat, has decided to study biomedical engineering.
I'm so excited. I want to help people who are in the situation I was in. And it was a really hard time for me, but I persevered with God.
The family came to Houston for Katharina's recovery, but have made the move here permanent. The city known for medical wonders and healing has become their home.
Superintendent House gave out $1,200 scholarships to several more seniors. Every HISD high school principal nominated one senior for this award for a total of 35 recipients. An 11-year-old girl had the time of her life in September, getting to do something nobody thought she could. Mary, who was born with cerebral palsy, got to steal a base at the Astros game. Matt Doherty shared her story.
What you see is something that Mary was never supposed to be able to do. The 11-year-old girl was born with cerebral palsy.
For her, it's what makes her nonverbal, because the part that controls speech is affected. And then her muscles and all that just don't communicate with her brain the way they should.
When she was young, her doctors were less than optimistic.
Her doctors basically gave us no hope. They told us she wouldn't be able to eat, she won't be able to talk, she won't be able to walk, she'll need help for the rest of her life.
One of them even advised her mother, Kaylin, to give Mary up.
He suggested that when she was a mature age, so a teenager, to go ahead and put her in a home.
But for this family, that simply wouldn't do. Instead of giving up hope, they gave it a try.
We've literally been in therapy since she was 3 months old.
Mary's thousands of hours of hard work have paid off. When her family asked if she could steal the base like the other kids do between innings at the Astros games, they weren't sure if the team would go for it.
There's a lot of times where we're told no, she can't do something because it's not accessible, or it's a liability, or it's too hard.
To their surprise, the team said it was fine. And with the help of her mom, Mary did it with an unforgettable smile on her face.
I think they see a kid who is typically in a wheelchair that shouldn't be able to do the things that she can do, and she got up and she basically ran to go steal the base.
This was the game that Mary won, proving so many naysayers wrong.
She's just like everybody else. It just takes a little bit of accommodation and modification.
In Beaumont, I'm Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
Another great story out of the Astros World Series winning season. The birthday boy who caught Yordan Alvarez's walk-off home run ball from ALDS Game 1. Daniel Gutera was there when he met the Astros slugger.
That's some wild stuff right there. I never thought he'd just walk up.
Dylan Harrell was nervous this morning, maybe more so than that bottom of the ninth 2 days ago.
Crazy, man, that's a crazy experience. I wish I could relive it, because I don't really remember much of it, but it all happened so fast.
He was about to meet Yordan Alvarez, a meeting set up by the Correa Family Foundation. The now famous home run ball in hand was about to be signed.
Alvarez told me that I could keep the ball. He said that, he'd like to sign it, but he doesn't want to take it from me. So, I mean, I'm fine with that. I was kind of relieved.
Hey, come grab, Bobby.
The Astro slugger was gracious, taking pictures with Dylan and the family, signing everything. This encounter, hard to put into words.
That's a memory of a lifetime. That's crazy.
But one that will never be forgotten.
I got Bagwell's signature on a couple of things, and I hate to say it, but this tops it, Bagwell. I'm sorry, but this is a special memory, and special piece of Astros history that I'm going to keep forever.
At Minute Maid Park, Daniel Gotera, KHOU 11 News.
And the crowd goes wild. 7-year-old Andrew May is at the center of that joy-inducing moment. Melissa Correa broke down why such a simple moment had such a big impact.
Crank up the sound and open your heart to the idea of just how much better our world could be if we all just passed the ball and cheered. This joy-inducing moment captured on a Conroe ISD playground. 7-year-old Andrew May was relentless, his first grade friends happy to assist.
Andrew, do you love basketball?
Yes.
From the dribbling to the passing to the roar of the crowd, Andrew May just might be the basketball star we need.
He is just like a ball of sunshine. This is Andrew all the time. He is happy.
Happy. Among his siblings or on the slopes or at school.
Your heart smiles.
Where Principal Jill Price leads with kindness.
In this pandemic, there's so many worries in the world, and these are just kids playing at recess.
Trying so hard, getting so close, needing just a few more shots.
It's just a moment that everybody deserves.
We all need a cheering squad like that. That is what just touched us so much, was to see those boys in action when they didn't even know they were being filmed. As a mom, I wanted to just hug those other mothers of those boys.
What do you think the world would be like if more of us rooted for others?
Awesome, kind, peaceful. I mean, wouldn't we all sleep better?
It's a good reminder of what good vibes can do. When you put out positive energy, it comes back to you.
Andrew lives with Down syndrome. Part of his day at Buckaloo Elementary is spent getting his needs met through specialized learning. The other half, Andrew shares with all of his friends.
It is an environment of inclusion and kindness and love and respect, and it's modeled from the top down.
And practiced on the playground.
It doesn't have to be limited to 7-year-olds at an elementary school.
Right.
Create the space, celebrate the win.
And to keep going. I mean, just to stay with something.
The patience.
Pass it on. Melissa Correa, KHOU 11 News.
A big shout out to the Conroe ISD teacher's aide, Margarita Steinberg, who pulled out her cell phone and recorded that video. One of the most impactful events at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo happens before the rodeo even starts. Here's a look at the Top Hands Horse Show. This parade through NRG Arena is decades in the making.
The first show was in 1997.
25 years later, Top Hands Horse Show is bigger than ever.
There's something like 200 riders out here today, special riders.
Some with physical challenges, some with intellectual challenges, some with both, all with a passion for horses and competition.
It builds their confidence, it builds their self-esteem, it gives them an opportunity to shine and be in control.
Stacey Anderson is chairman of the rodeo's Special Children's Committee.
It's like a family.
Which puts the event on.
There's so few horse shows that honor this special population.
You'll see the biggest smiles ever when they compete.
This is Ken Sargent's 19th show.
Our daughter spent her first few years with a lot of behavioral problems, but put her on the back of a horse and it just kind of all melts away.
His team is one of more than 20 competing in different categories like showmanship.
The person is on the ground and showing a horse.
Riders have options: English equitation, Western equitation, barrels, and Coach Sargent's favorite, trail.
It's meant to emulate what a ranch hand would experience.
This is like the Olympics of the horse shows for them. So they work all year long, they train at their individual clubs, and then they come here. We have judges, we have awards, so we have it's just an enormous show.
A show with 25 years of history, 25 years of impact, 25 years of connection.
These are the greatest people and the greatest show that any parent could ever ask for.
The Special Children's Committee also puts on the Little Rustlers Rodeo and hosts Sensory Friendly Day during the rodeo. Black cowboys have a rich history, but their stories often go untold. Brittany Ford introduced us to a man working to change that.
At the corner of 3rd Street in downtown Rosenberg sits decades of Black history. Through the doors,
my name is Larry Callis. I am a Black cowboy.
A man who's made it his mission to educate the world on what it means to be a Black cowboy.
By the time I turned 7 or 8, I was riding horses and working cows with my dad.
Callis started rodeo riding when he was just 15 years old, the second Black cowboy competing, aside from his cousin Tex.
He was the first Black to win an all-white rodeo in 1967. I was the second to make the state finals.
He says working at the Simonton Rodeo is where he discovered another talent. As a country music singer,
George Strait's manager was my manager at one time until I lost my voice.
What is your biggest accomplishment as a Black cowboy?
My biggest accomplishment is this museum.
With the motto,
I'm a Christian first and I'm a cowboy second.
Among the artifacts, articles, and pictures hung on the walls, Callis's longtime friend.
My name is David Solomon, but I was the first Black that ever rode in a high school rodeo.
Solomon, a retired professional bull rider who fought the struggles of being a colored rider in the 1960s.
Although you rode a good bull, you didn't win nothing.
One thing I think is interesting too, as being a Black rider myself, I feel like it's taboo for you to say that you ride horses or that you're in equestrian or a cowboy. Why do you think that is?
That's just the way it was. They didn't put us on TV, so they don't know anything about us.
The real history.
The real history.
Not knowing the history behind the word cowboy.
Because a white man could be 20 years old and a Black man could be 55, and they say, hey boy, go get that cow.
Callis says historically white men were cow hands, slaves cowboys, until the early 1920s where Hollywood through Western film and radio took on the term.
I ain't no cow hand, I'm a cowboy, just like I see on TV. That's what changed.
Fast forward decades later.
There are Black cowboys and African Americans that are able now to be awarded for their talent, awarded for that. I mean, what does that mean to you to see just it come full circle?
Well, I never thought it was going to happen, but it's happening.
Callis and Solomon, true trailblazers.
The Black cowboys were the first cowboys.
Brittany Ford, KHOU 11 News.
The Black Cowboy Museum, a nonprofit, was recently awarded a $1 million grant to build a brand new state-of-the-art museum in Kindleton. That new museum is set to open sometime next spring. In March, Arlen Cannon detailed the powerful partnership between two Houston women. One broke barriers as a ballerina. The other is developing programs for aspiring dancers.
3 to the front, 2, 3, up, down. I just want them to feel okay and comfortable enough to do it again and to do it again. And then I want them to be successful.
The master is now the teacher.
And the 1, and 2, and
Former ballerina Lauren Anderson is training the next generation of dancers.
2, and 3, up, down. I love teaching. Teaching's my jam. I love teaching just as much as I love performing. Because when the light bulb goes on in a child, when you see it happen, it's like, yay, and it's not my victory, it's their victory.
Anderson has had her share of victories. A trailblazing career with Houston Ballet. She was one of the first African-American principal ballerinas for a major U.S. company. She retired in 2006, but teaching keeps her close to her first love. Dance, she says, has been her refuge through good times and bad.
I've crossed over, been up, down, forward, back with dance. Dance is a one thing that no matter what has happened in life, because life happens. Everything is not always a bowl of cherries, but dance has always been there for me.
We caught up with her at the Fort Bend Academy of Arts and Dance in Missouri City, founded by Charity Carter. Carter grew up dancing and calls Anderson her role model. Carter founded the nonprofit Edison Foundation, which provides cultural education like this for children. Now the two women are working together to spread the power of dance.
That power that dance gives them is the power that takes them to do whatever they want to do and whatever they can do. The sky is the limit.
Run a jam on there, close back.
These two women, the master and the visionary, have a special partnership and a commitment.
I'm constantly looking at these dancers that I teach. Who can I get to come to Houston Ballet and give a scholarship to? And everyone says, yes, you're looking for the new you. No, I'm looking for the better me. Yes. Better than me, that child.
Charity Carter's Edison Arts Foundation is building a new 400-seat cultural and performing arts center in Missouri City. It opens in the fall of 2023, and Lauren will be teaching there. 2022 marked 4 years since the mass shooting at Santa Fe High School that killed 10 people, 2 teachers, 8 students. Grace White showed us how one of the victims' families turned grief into purpose.
In the peace and quiet of still waters,
it's been great for us. We needed it.
The Tisdale family found a new dream.
Just a beautiful space.
And healing.
For me, it was a way to help her and our children. Bad things happen, tragedy comes in life, but you always have to move forward.
In 2018, they lost his mother, Cynthia Tisdale, a substitute teacher, in the Santa Fe High School shooting.
It's impacted our life, and it will forever. We will never ever forget that day.
She was a teacher for 19 years. He was in law enforcement for 25, and they knew they needed a change.
We didn't know anything about the wedding business, and we just decided to go for it.
Jennifer and Reese Tisdale bought a piece of property, built a banquet hall, open-air chapel, and started booking brides.
I feel like I have about 156 daughters right now because they all text, call, email all the time.
And never looked back.
I think that our story has, helped a lot of people. I hope it has. I hope that we've been inspirational to some people.
It wasn't just the loss of Grammy that Tisdales had to overcome. They also lost Grammy's husband, Poppy, 5 months later, and decided they would dedicate their new dream to their memory.
When we decided to do this, one of the big things was the name.
And for inspiration, Reese thought about his dad, a former Baptist minister.
We had the little lake back there and the bayou here, and I said, he leadeth me beside the still waters. So I said, well, why not use still waters?
The psalm hangs above the entrance, a gift from a bride.
That's the kind of thing that makes this job so great,
A reminder that every time they book a wedding.
But it is hard too, because we do have to tell the story.
A chance after the worst day of their life.
It's so hard to not just be angry and resentful.
To be there for someone's best.
It's people's lives and their future, and it's just a great place to be, good atmosphere.
Grace White, KHOU 11 News.
I fully understand this is not conventionally good news, but it is a testament to the good that is out there. After the shooting in Uvalde, a Santa Fe survivor says she felt like she had to do something. Jordan Boutwell organized a car wash.
Santa Fe is really here for this community, and we're ready to go to Uvalde. And so we've had so many conversations with people and saying that they're so excited we're doing this, they want to be a part of this, and that this means so much to them.
That was the first of several fundraisers. Jordan also coordinated with more than 20 companies to put on an event for the Uvalde community to come together. In Galveston County, a League City man is changing the definition of superhero. He doesn't have powers necessarily, but he does have a costume, which he wears while he's out delivering food. Zach Tawatari tagged along for some of this guy's missions.
They say not all superheroes.
They don't all wear capes.
In the case of League City's Timothy Glover.
I'm a corporate trainer during the day.
But in a flash,
Dash Gordon, here he is.
The costume, it turns out, is actually his uniform.
I DoorDash.
Glover started door dashing after his wife had a health scare, in hopes of making money to pay for a much-needed vacation. Dash Gordon quickly became a hit.
They drive by, and to be honest with you, the reactions are, Dash, we love you. Dash, you're the man.
And a viral sighting sensation.
DoorDash. What's up, Dash? How are you? And it takes their mind off what's going on in this crazy time, in this world. Guess what? It's working.
But then Glover, who says he was fueled by his childhood spent in foster homes, began to think he could use his powers for something greater.
There was a couple single moms. They were reaching out asking for some help. I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can go into my neighborhood. I can get donations.
And he has hundreds of dollars worth so far, now doing public appearances or just stopping by to brighten someone's day.
This is what I'm supposed to do.
The only currency accepted? Smiles. Now he and his wife are ready to take that vacation. And even though it's been a whirlwind,
I'm trying to move as fast as they want Dash to.
He has no plans of stopping.
I had no idea it would be so impactful, not only on the community, but how it's changed me as a person.
Zach Tawatari, KHOU 11 News.
On the topic of food, one night our Janelle Bluda was driving through Rice Village when she noticed a long line of people. Curiosity got the best of her. She had to see for herself what all the fuss was about.
From five-star restaurants to award-winning chefs, Houston has some of the best foods in the world.
How are you guys? How many would you like?
But every Friday night in Rice Village, a line wraps around the block.
And I see this line and I'm like, what is going on?
For hot dogs.
And then someone's like, it's hot dogs. Hot dogs? Are you kidding? How many?
An iconic American entree, captivating a whole crowd of hungry people.
Waiting for hot dogs.
As they wait some over an hour for a hot dog.
Thank you, man.
From a food cart.
Great hot dogs, great flavors.
Thank you, Mitch.
Mitch Weichert shows up an hour early, even brings his own chair.
Once you have one, you'll know.
It's Yo-Yo's famous hot dogs, crafted by the chef Yo-Yo himself.
I try to make it as perfect as possible, every single hot dog.
And the little beauty has layers, starting with a toasted cream cheese bun. The all-beef hot dog is topped off with grilled and fried onions and 2 different sauces.
I put this honey mayo and the sriracha on it, and I put my heart in it. I try to, like, rather than selling hot dogs, sell me. What a beautiful family, oh my God.
Yo-Yo actually went to school to be a sushi chef, but he settled on the hot dog, an American classic to help complete his American dream.
And I've been over-blessed by Lord. Thank you so much, yes. Thank you so much, thank you.
An immigrant from Korea, Yo-Yo knew to find success, he had to start small.
You know, hot dog saved my life.
But now he's thinking big. He's finally opening his first brick and mortar shop next week.
I want to go to the airport.
And he wants to bring his only menu item to airports across America.
Tell them what the Houston hot dog is all about.
The Houston hot dog changed Yo-Yo's life and maybe even
It'll change your life.
Yours too. In Houston, Janelle Bluda, KHOU 11 News.
Finally, a Katy couple hoped to add one more kid to their growing family, and then they got the surprise of their lives. Mom got pregnant all right, but with 4 babies, not just one. Marcelino Benito checked in with the Haglers.
It's not always this quiet. It was Dane.
Inside the Hagler home, feeding times
I thought it was going to be this crazy chaos with screaming babies.
are truly a sight to behold.
And we're going to knock this out.
4 babies, Adam, Bennett, Kobe, and Dane, all hungry at the same time. Takes teamwork.
Dad, you're Bennett, burping Kobe. I'm nursing Dane and Adam.
Luckily, there's lots of hands ready to help.
There are moments of chaos, but it's not what I expected.
Parents Gabby and Patrick's journey has been anything but expected. They got married in 2018, a blended family, each with a child from a previous marriage, Paxton and Callie. It didn't take long to become a family of 5 with Sammy, their now almost 3-year-old son.
Life was already hectic and busy and everything.
Gabby got pregnant again, but suffered a miscarriage. After healing from that loss, the couple wanted to try again.
So we decided, like, we'll do one more, and then that's, you know, we'll be complete. With one more. Well, yeah.
With a 4th.
After taking fertility medication, they got pregnant again, and at their 12-week ultrasound, the surprise of a lifetime.
She's just ecstatic, you know, with this counting. We're like, are you counting limbs? Like, what are we counting here?
She said, wait, there's 4. And we're like, 4 what? She's like, 4 babies. Do you know you're having 4 babies?
Oh,
and yeah, and the look, I remember the look, my look was just like.
For the next 5 months, Gabby and her husband navigated the high-risk pregnancy.
It became this really beautiful sort of group effort where everybody was believing that these boys could make it to that day, and we did.
And at 34 weeks on June 22nd, Adam, Bennett, Kobe, and Dane were born.
Because it's like, wow, I mean, those are 4 babies at the same time.
3 weeks after birth, all the babies were finally able to head home.
The love in this house now is tangible.
This family of 9.
There you go. You want to hang out with your brothers?
Finally complete and ready for the journey ahead.
We're looking forward to, what life has in store for these guys.
4 beautiful babies all at once means it's a lot harder for this family to get around, so they're hoping to purchase a Ford Transit passenger van for their whole crew to get around in. If you'd like to help the family, we have their GoFundMe page up on KHOU.com right now. Back to you.
Within a week of that story, the family was able to buy a van to fit all of their children, so that GoFundMe is deactivated. These are just some of the local good news stories we've shared over the past year. If you want to check in throughout the next year, go to khou.com/heartwarming. That's where we share good news from the Houston area and from our sister stations all over the country. Thanks for joining us for this KHU 11 Plus special. We're wishing you a wonderful 2023.